I remember whenever social media really started to hit its stride whenever I was younger, and I started off with Facebook. I wasn't really into MySpace, and I remember how people wasn't so sensitive about things, and you could pretty much say whatever. Of course, there was a couple of times where people said something that was out of pocket or something that was inappropriate, or it was very rare to actually come across a picture or let alone a video that was very provocative and out there and tempting, right? Now, how social media is, people post anything. I haven't seen this much disrespect ever. I You would honestly think people aren't actually like this. People have just completely lost it and they've lost touch of reality. And I know the enemy has a part to play in this as well, but people just post their deluded mindsets, their standpoint, their views, their morals, the whole nine. And it actually led me to unfollow and unfriend or whatever, just a whole bunch of people who I actually grew up with, even some close friends that I was really tight knit with. Not a lot of people are unique as they claim themselves out to be. A lot of people, they get their personality just from social media alone, and people can't be themselves because they'll be labeled as corny or whack because they're trapped in this matrix metaverse society known as social media. People can't think for themselves, they lack critical thinking skills. Porn is everywhere. A lot of people are depressed because they're consuming way too much information at one time and they're comparing themselves to other people. I remember whenever I downloaded TikTok for the very first time, and you know whenever you download TikTok for the very first time, it's just like, what? Like this is like really interesting, right? And I remember I've never consumed so much information all at once because I remember my very first time and I was scrolling so much that I made it all the way to four in the morning. I was just like dang, where did the time go? And I was consuming way too much information, and I knew right then and there immediately that this was actually a problem. But I have enough discipline to actually halt myself, be like, okay, let me go ahead and squander this because this is way too much that I'm consuming at one time. I'm losing my sleep. I didn't necessarily get depressed, but I did waste a lot of time. I was just like, wow, because whenever you're on TikTok, you watch videos in spurts, like 30 seconds to like 3 minutes or however long the duration is, and you'd be like, perhaps I shall view TikTok for only 10 minutes. Next thing you know, an hour or 2 hours goes by, you'd be like, dang man, like where did the time go? And a lot of people, you're consuming way too much information all at once. With people comparing themselves to social media and the people who they admire on social media all day long, it can really do a damage to your self-esteem. And a lot of people have to realize this and understand this, and a lot of people may not know this, but a lot of stuff that people post on social media, it's fake. It's not real. It's fake. It's like kind of like television. That people are personifying themselves as in how you want them to be displayed. If that makes any sense. Like no one's gonna post their L's. Everyone's gonna post either something that people are going to like or something that's going to get them a lot of attention. Because I guarantee you, all they have to do, like let's just say for example, hypothetically, if the government says, dang y'all, the Wi-Fi's out, right? And all social media platforms go down. I remember last year whenever Instagram and Facebook they both went down simultaneously and people lost their minds. Just last week or 2 weeks ago, Twitter went down and I didn't even realize it. The only reason I actually knew was because someone who actually does like in time news and everything and gives me notifications and updates throughout the world. It said, "Oh, Twitter is down." I was just like, "Oh, dang, I didn't realize it." And a lot of people, they just base themselves off of social media. There is so much stuff out in the world, but people just rely on social media so heavy. A lot of y'all can't even go a week without social media. You put so much time into social media, and people honestly are just programmed. They are programmed to just go on social media and just indulge in useless information, getting entertained, and just laughing it up. All this useless information, and the people who call themselves Christian, you can't even give some time towards God. You are so undisciplined and so unfocused that you can't even give time to God because you are just so distracted by entertainment and social media alone. I find that amazing. How you say that you love God, and everything. There's nothing wrong with social media per se. However, whenever you are giving no time towards God and you're saying, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time, God. God, I wish I had more time. But you're putting all this focus and energy towards something that you're not even getting a return back on. It's just something just to entertain you. But you be, oh God, I want you to bless me. God, I want you to do this for me. I want you to do that for me. But you can't give no time towards him. That's for you to look yourself in the mirror and say, dang, I am giving no time towards God, but I am indulging myself in entertainment 24/7. However, for me, it is so useful and a blessing in disguise because I'm going to look at the cup half full rather than half empty, because y'all are so comfortable posting whatever that you want on social media and think that like everything is just okay. And me, I can whenever I see you post stuff on social media, like the people who I grew up around with and everything, I get to see what you like, what you don't like, your morals, your standpoints, your views, just like I said earlier throughout this video, and I get to make an accurate judgment, accurate, righteous judgment based on what you post and what you don't post and who you interact with in the whole 9 yards. And I can make an accurate judgment on certain individuals. And people will be like, well, you can't judge me. Hold on one second. Not true. John 7:24 says I can make righteous judgment. I'm not going to judge you on how you look and everything, but I'm going to judge you based off of your mindset, what you think and everything. Because whenever, for example, in the 90s, whenever social media was not present, it was actually hard to distinguish who was real, who was not real, who was a Christian, who was not a Christian. And you just actually had to find out by actually spending time with them. However, now, because social media has been presented to everybody, everyone can make an account for free. You can basically tell who people actually are in a sense, not a whole grand scale, not 100%, but you can get sort of a teaser or a preview of how that person actually are and how they present themselves and what their mindset is and everything. So me personally, I love it. I love it whenever y'all just go out there and just tell all your business and everything, because let's just say let's go back to my example again. In the 90s, let's just say someone went to church and they was like looking for me. I don't know why you would go to church. You're supposed to learn about God, but nevertheless, and a girl, she sees like someone who she's attracted to and be like, he's a Christian because he goes to church, and vice versa. And the man takes interest to the woman. She's a Christian because she goes to church. Sometimes that cannot be the case at all. Sometimes they could be a wolf's in sheep's clothing. Sometimes they could be just someone who you do not want to deal with. And with social media, in Isaiah chapter 5 verses 20, how it says good will be presented as evil and evil will be called good. And a whole bunch of Christians will literally expose themselves, and they're supposed to be a Christian. They're supposed to be, even if you're not a Christian, you just expose yourselves automatically. Like I said, man, I love whenever y'all just go out there and expose yourselves, because it tells me who I need to stay away from and who I need to gravitate towards too. Where I actually live at right now, I'm not gravitating towards anybody. I'm de-gravitating away. I'm not sure if that's even a word, but you catch my point here. It honestly used to bother me about the stuff that people actually used to post a couple of years ago, and sometimes I get a little irritated, but as time went on and time has progressed, I've realized everything has just gotten worse. Y'all see the nonsense that is going on out in the world right now. It'd be like, huh? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, that doesn't even, how does that even compute in your head? Like, can you honestly just take a step back and just think about what you are actually saying here, and you think that that's okay? Because it's not. You've read the Old Testament and how God told the Israelites not to go with these other tribes and stay away from these certain clans and tribes and everything, is because they would lose focus and then they would commit idolatry against God. That is exactly how we are supposed to operate whenever we go out into the world. However, we are so locked into our phones and we're so locked into social media, and the more that you look at social media, it can literally reprogram your mind just if you're seeing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And then it just computes inside your head and be like, okay, this is actually the right thing instead of the wrong thing. And when you're supposed to automatically, God, God is supposed to be your center right here. But whenever you turn your head, be like, that seems kind of interesting. Let's go see what this astrology is talking about. Let's just go see what these crystals are talking about. Let's see what these people are spewing nonsense out their mouth. That is sinful, but it's good to my flesh. No. And that is exactly why people change. We all make mistakes. I say this all the time. We all make mistakes because it's true. But with social media, people are revealing, unmasking who they really are. Do not let no pretty face sway you from what your goal is supposed to be, which is God. But because you're so focused and so tuned in on social media, not in God's word, not praying, nothing spiritual related, God-wise, and you're just so locked into social media, something that is not even real, and people based everything off of that. That is why God told the Israelites, do not mess with that tribe. Don't mess with that tribe. They are going to get you to commit idolatry and go against me. I'm pretty much reiterating what I'm saying right now, but me personally, I love it. I love whenever people just reveal themselves and unmask and portray who they really are on social media, because that's what a lot of people do. There are the very few minority that don't post, who they are on social media. And there's been a couple of times who I actually was interested in getting involved with these girls and everything, and because they revealed themselves who they are on social media, I was just like, yeah, never mind. I'm good. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. You're very beautiful and everything, but just of how your mindset works, I don't even want to get involved with you. Good luck. I mean, and not saying that I'm all that and like I'm your savior or anything like that, but I would have wasted my time, my energy and attention, etc. on that certain individual if they didn't reveal who they were on social media. There was this one girl, story time here. There was this one girl who, she actually went to my church and I grew up with her and everything. I believe I met her whenever I was 9 or 10 years old. I was just like, wow, who is that, right? Like, everything that I wanted. So growing up, we went to church. I was just like, oh yeah, she's a Christian, so I want her. And as time went on, there was like a small moment where like something happened, but nothing really happened, honestly. And I was so upset because I'm not gonna lie, it was my first crush. So I kind of got my heart broken a little bit, just a little teensy bit. And at first I was asking, I said, God, why? Like why? Like, I want her and everything. Why? And I never actually understood why. But I followed her on social media. Whenever I saw everything that she said on social media, everything, I got to see it all. Everything was just portrayed because guess what? She was comfortable revealing who she really was on social media. Not saying that I'm better than her, not condemning her, but she revealed who she really was and she unmasked herself, because I only got to see her whenever we was in church. I never got to see her, like, we didn't go to the same school together. All it was church, and we was attracted to each other in social media. That was it. And thank God for social media, because oh boy, I tell you, I really think that is one of my wins right there, bro. That's a W. That's a woo! Thank you, God. Thank you so much. Because I would have caught an L. I was about to play it. I would have caught an L. But thank God, through social media, she revealed who she really was. Another thing that I notice on social media, whenever you expect somebody to be happy because they're posting themselves all the time, they're either turning up, out with their friends, drinking, smoking, hanging out, and just going the whole 9 yards, traveling, doing everything, right? And a lot of people, sad to say this, they're just posting a facade and they're not really happy. I know this one person, this one individual, And I wasn't like jealous of her or anything, but I was just like, man, she really seems happy, like happy for her and everything. And she exposed herself. She wanted to make it seem as though, hey guys, just let you know, social media is not real. This is what I looked like an hour before the picture. And she was crying, like her whole face was just drenched in tears. And then the next picture, it just seems like she was fine, and she was on the beach. So don't let people fool you by the facade that they actually put on social media. Like I said in the very beginning of the video, social media is fake. Nobody is posting their L's. I mean, sometimes people could actually be happy, but you know what? Some of these people, they actually, whenever the party's over and the social media is done and they go home for the night, they go home and cry. Is what it is. How do you think so many people are unhappy? Because social media is a major contributing factor into the mental health crisis. A lot of people are just unhappy. And to be honest with you, I don't say this to be mean, but a lot of people, they're nothing without social media. They don't know how to operate. They're bored. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves if social media just went down today. No matter what day. They couldn't post anymore. They couldn't get no attention anymore. And I honestly think it will just cause a shock in their system. Be like, whoa. Because you automatically have to go cold turkey from what you are used to. Me personally, I only use social media for Christian and photography purposes mainly. That's pretty much it. I mean, there will be occasionally, I go in and check in and be like, oh, snap, okay, they're doing good and everything. But like I said, man, I had to actually just unfollow a whole bunch of people because they revealed who they truly was. Not only through social media, but in real life as well. But that's a story for a different day. But just through social media alone, it just told me enough in everything that I needed to know about them. So, I mean, social media is pretty much done for anyways, like, except for like TikTok and everything. I mean, for me and my age and how old I am, even though I'm still young, it's just boring. It's boring and it's fake. It's fake. It's not real. I mean, I post frequently and everything, but I like to do stuff in real life. But there is more to life than just social media. You have to keep in mind, social media truly started for real 2010, 2011, not even 2 decades. And people do not know how to operate without social media. Thousands of years, people was operating without social media. People was going out, living their life without social media, without instant gratification, without the unrealistic expectations of others. And people was just real. Obviously, there was some, obviously, because this is the devil's world and everything. So he was operating in a different light. But now he is really pushing himself forward through social media. And a lot of people are falling for it. Get off of social media. Put time towards God. That's what most of your time should go towards anyways, especially in these days right here. In these days that we're living in, you really have to put your focus and time into God instead of social media. Because if you look for a week, if you just calculate, okay, I spent this much time on social media, what did I get out of it? Nothing. You got nothing in return. No reward. All you got was entertainment, a few chuckles, a few laughs. That's it. Obviously, there's some good stuff on social media, but just majority of this goofy clown behavior stuff that they're posting on social media, it's ridiculous. And people do anything for clout. They do anything for attention. All these pranks, like, people have lost their minds and lost touch of reality. Instead of putting your time towards social media, put time towards God.